Compared to when I was growing up, there's a marked increase in the number of sci-fi and fantasy media that have black central characters and deal with black issues, especially those written and produced by black people. Honestly, I love it. The absence of it in my childhood is part of what spurred me into writing in the first place. What I didn't expect though, even though I should have, is the second part of that equation. The African diasporic experience is a central theme in a lot of these stories. In essence, these stories are, as so many people would call them, woke. I'd love to discuss some examples and then share why I think this is so. Let's take Black Panther for example. It's great to imagine a powerful nation in Africa that was never bitten by the fangs of colonization. We get to see black excellence in everything from technology to healthcare, but at the same time, how can we do that without asking the question, why did Wakanda not interfere when people were taken from the continent in chains? Should they have? Are they responsible for the well-being of other black people when blackness is a colonial concept within itself?
You know where I'm from. When black folks started revolutions, they never had the firepower or the resources to fight their oppressors. Where was Wakanda?
And consider the horror film Get Out. The story goes that some amazing technology has been developed that allows people to take over the bodies of others. Why would they not target black people? After all, justice for black people in the US especially is notoriously poor. And what is body snatching if not the ultimate form of kidnapping? Even the stereotypes of the black form being naturally good at certain things, while presented as a compliment, are in themselves insidious.
With your frame and your genetic makeup, if you really pushed your body, and I mean really trained, no pussyfooting around, you'd be a fucking beast.
I bet lots of people don't know that the Mandingo stereotype that black people have large penises was born out of the white slave owners' desire to depict enslaved Africans as animalistic, ruled by sexual desires. It made it easy to put the blame firmly on the enslaved black man if he had any relations with a white woman. This is despite the power imbalance with the white woman being higher in the social hierarchy. The recent horror film They Cloned Tyrone took me by surprise with its social commentary too. In this film, the main character Fontaine discovers he is a clone. His community, which is pretty much all black, has been targeted for insidious, lethal experiments. We don't know if it is the government behind it or some giant corporation, but we do know that they don't care about the lives they impact. Negatively impact. They keep this black community impoverished, violent, drug addicted because it benefits the white hegemony. The thing that surprised me the most is that Fontaine Prime, if you will, the original that Fontaine was cloned from, is actually the scientist in charge of this work. Even that is extremely telling. It speaks of the black people that have managed to find a place within the white hegemony that benefits them, at least on the surface, while hurting the black community as a whole. There is even more I could talk about. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I Am a Virgo, Raising Dion. All of these talk about the black experience, the black struggle in their own ways. But why? Even though I live in Jamaica, I have been on the internet for long enough to hear the question brought up, why are you making everything about race? Well, the sad truth is that race has impacted our lives so much that basically everything is about race. Everything from where we live to the opportunities we get, the languages we speak, our education, our representation in politics, our upbringing, the dangers we face in our day-to-day lives, are all impacted by race. So even if we set a sci-fi or fantasy story in a world or community that resembles those that we grew up in, these depictions will be incomplete without depictions of the realities we face. In a post-colonial, post-slavery world where superpowers exist, do we really think that there will be no differences in the black and brown experience compared to the white experience? That was pretty much my complete answer until my TikTok mutual, author and publisher Michael Labourne said this.
That has always been the experience of Black and brown authors. We have never been afforded the privilege to just exist as authors. We have always had to use our literature and our voices to fight for the liberation of humanity. And we have always felt the weight of the world's anger in response to us raising our voices. The Black pen has always been a source of liberation, not just for the Black community, but for the world. Because this standard has always existed for us. Our creatives, our writers, our artists, our singers, our poets have always had to lift their voices, have always had to press back against social injustice, have always had to fight. We have never gotten to just exist.
I hadn't thought of it before, but it's true. We expect marginalized people to have empathy and social awareness. If I could speak from personal experience, I once had a transgender friend being badgered online by someone who was saying that this friend has a mental illness, gender dysphoria. This person self-identified as a lesbian, as if that excused her behavior. I called her out because it was not that long ago that this very same kind of rhetoric was used against homosexuals, saying that they were mentally ill.
What Jimmy didn't know was that Ralph was sick, a sickness that was not visible like smallpox, but no less dangerous and contagious, a sickness of the mind. You see, Ralph was a homosexual, a person who demands an intimate relationship with members of their own sex.
Gender dysphoria is not considered a mental illness today, and I would have expected somebody within the LGBT community to know better than to toss those kinds of words around. So along with our experience that comes out in the stories we as marginalized people tell, there's a sort of social pressure to let these marginalized perspectives be heard. We are expected to have empathy and social awareness, to not only be capable of speaking on these issues with our art, but to be willing to. Marginalized communities especially want to know where we are putting our support, especially if it is financial support. It is why so many of us take that support away from those who we see hurting the most vulnerable. As an artist myself, I feel this is only natural. I've addressed social issues on this channel, and I will continue to do so for as long as I can. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, do the things for the algorithm. Even dislike if you think the video wasn't worth your time, so I can see what I can improve and make this channel what I dream it can be. I've been Ken Kwame, and I'll see you next time.